So mixed race, right? And people can't always tell, which is weird to me. I feel like it's really obvious. I mean, look at me. I have both black and white genes. And also I can dance, but not like super well.
Hello everyone, this is Emmanuel Cook. We will be reacting to a new video today, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
I never thought a day like this would happen, but it did, so I wanted to share my experience and see if anyone can relate to it. Alright, so I am a mixed Asian, right? My dad is black and white, and my mom is Thai. So I went to this get together with my friends, and there was this girl there, and she was just asking questions about me, like, you know, what's your name, where you from, blah, blah, blah. And she asked, like, what are you? And I told her. And she asked, like, my ethnic background and all, like, that, you know, that stuff. And I told her I'm a mixed Asian, I'm Thai, black and white, or something along the lines of that. I don't remember exactly what I said. So anyways, after I said that, she was just like, what, you're not black? And I was just like, okay. Like, I don't really care. I never, like, anyone that I ever told that or asked me, it was like, whatever, you know? It was like, cool. Or the people that I grew up around, they just knew who my parents were or whatever. And so, like, she basically just kept dragging this out, and which I guess from a, like, outsider's perspective, I can understand her point. Like, when you look at me, you don't look at me as a black person. Like, most people think I'm just flat out Hispanic or Asian. And yeah, basically she was just dragging it, and I just thought, I was like, I'm sorry, like, I don't know what you want me to do about that. Like, but yeah, it was just a big, like, it was just being extra as hell for no reason. And, you know, I just thought it was funny. Like, I didn't care, but I just want to know if anyone that's like mixed like me could like relate to that.
People love to remind me that I'm half white. Like, they love to remind me, like, I don't know, like, I don't wake up in the mirror every single day. I'm like, oh shit, like, I forgot. No, I'm very much aware, but people forget, like, what relevance does that have in my life? Like, what relevance does that have? Because it doesn't matter that I'm half white, because I don't know the white culture side of me. I grew up in a Caribbean household. I also grew up in London, also grew up in East London. Like, it's called multicultural, babe. Like, I only know this part of me that I live. Like, this is my true authentic self. And just because I don't celebrate the white side, just because I don't know what I'm celebrating, like, I just don't get it. Like, why does people want to remind me this much that I'm half white? I am very much aware. I'm not delusional. And I'm not blind. Like, I can definitely see that. I just didn't grow up with a white family. That's the only difference. Like, at all, in any way, shape or form. And it's not just because I don't want to know them. No one knows them. No one has a clue. So leave that conversation in the bin, please and thanks.
I just wanted to speak on being mixed in America. I feel like sometimes mixed kids experience racism and we don't really know it because we experience it from our own family as well. Also, white people tend to be more comfortable around mixed people, so they feel like they can say the N-word or say things like, well, you're not black, or well, you're half white, so you understand. So yes, we do experience a different type of racism, but we have to remember that, you know, we are all black. And as much as, you know, I have a white mother, the world sees me as a black woman. And
I feel like growing up mixed race is an extreme sport. Like, my entire life, I've just been like fighting for my life, trying to validate myself, because I'm always having people invalidate me because of what I look like, and it's just so tiring, because when you're mixed, it's like you're not black enough for the black people, you're not white enough for the white people, so it's like, damn, where the fuck do I belong? And that shit is hard, man. That shit is so fucking hard, because sometimes it be your own people saying, oh, you're not this, you're not that. Like, okay, what am I then? I'm just in the middle. But I'm not in the middle. I'm more black than I am white. But people are constantly calling me white. Why am I white? Can someone explain that to me, please? I don't have a white parent. And that's another thing people love to assume, just because I'm mixed. I don't have a white parent. Fuck off.
So it is story time. These are just some of the things that I went through with being biracial. So the first struggle that I ever really went through was definitely my hair. I was in an interracial household with a white grandmother and a black grandfather. My grandmother had no idea how to do my hair. It was a struggle every single day. I was breaking combs. I was breaking just anything that went through my hair was broke. My grandma ended up sending me to salons or sending me to my aunt's house or to my family's house to be able to put relaxers in my hair and try to tame it where she could take care of it better. The other struggle I went through was appreciation for my hair. I was always told, you know, how good it looked when it was flat ironed and how good it looked when it wasn't curly, and how much more professional it looked when it wasn't curly. But now that I'm an adult, I flat iron it for my access just because it's simple in the morning. But I absolutely love my volume, my coarseness, my curls. I absolutely love my hair. And I think that is extremely important. Your hair does not have to be flat or be straight in order for it to be gorgeous. So the next thing that I went through is I went to my mom's house and I went to stay with her for a while. And I was in the 2nd grade and I went to a predominantly black school. While I was at the school, I was treated significantly different because I was too light. And at lunch, nobody would eat with me and nobody would really associate with me because they thought I was weird because I'm just so much lighter. I ended up going home and crying, and I ended up leaving the school and moving back with my grandparents. The other struggle that I went through was pretty much not ever really being able to be who you are as a whole person. It's always, oh, that's your white side coming out, or that's your black side coming out. Oh, you like animals? That's your white side coming out. Oh, you like chicken? That's your black side coming out. Why can't I just be who I am, like as a whole person? I'm not a piece of a pie or a piece of a pizza. Like, you can't just separate me into little bitty corners. I just like what I like. So another thing that I hear people screaming left and right is, oh, representation is so important. Representation is so important. Excuse me, Miss Ma'am, where's our representation? We really don't have much for the biracial community. It's not something that we don't have something strictly for us. But yeah, I hear people saying all the time, oh, we need representation. We need representation. A lot of people do. We ain't getting it. What I can say though is while I was growing up, thank God for Halle Berry. Thank God for Tia and Tamara Mowry. Thank God for Mariah Carey. Thank God for Lotto now. Thank God for Doja Cat. Thank God for all these biracial women that is out here killing the game. And I don't know why she's never brought up, but shout out to the first biracial princess, Miss Meghan Markle. She has been slandered left and right. She has been called the Princess of Compton. She never even lived in Compton. Shout out to her for making history.
The reason why mixed people get roasted on so much is because we don't know how to speak to our own experiences. Like, we don't have the vocabulary for it. Like, biracials, for example, we have the vocabulary of one race and we have the vocabulary of this other race, but we can't speak to either of those experiences in a vacuum because we experience them like this. Okay, this might be a hot take. I think actually most people do experience a mixed adjacent experience. For example, let's take someone who is Asian, right? But they grew up in a very Caucasian environment. That is kind of a mixed adjacent experience in and of itself because they were raised by two cultures. You know, they're kind of bicultural in that way. Or for example, someone who is not mixed by blood, but they were adopted by a different ethnicity. A lot of humans end up finding community based on who is the same ethnicity, culture, or race as them. I know that people who are not mixed also experience things like imposter syndrome, but a lot of mixed people spend their whole lives having imposter syndrome or hating themselves because they don't fit into a box, and they feel like because they don't fit into the box, they don't deserve community. And when that belonging wound gets triggered, that's when you see mixed people lashing out on their own communities, like getting defensive, speaking on things that they may or may not have the credentials for, and overall just doing too much. I can't wait till the day that mixed culture becomes like a thing in the mainstream world. To me, mixedness and queerness are very similar because they're both self-defined. Like being queer, there's no one way to be queer. Two people could be queer and they have completely different experiences. They love different ways. They have completely different identities, but they share the same experience of being outside of a box.
Mixed people have to find their tribe, and it doesn't have to be both mixed people. It can just be like people who accept you for who you are and who are good friends to you as well. I have mixed people in my family as well. I also have friends who were mixed. A few years ago, my best friend was also mixed as well. Find people that you really connect with. That's pretty much it. And I can relate to the whole like feeling like you don't fit in at times, and just getting mad at your own people, feeling like you don't belong to this group or this group. You're just sort of in this weird spot, and it's a tough place to be, especially if you were there for your whole life and now you don't know where you fit in, you don't know where you belong, and it's a hard thing. It's a very hard pill to swallow.
Thing that irritates me the most is something I hate hearing as someone that's mixed race. So I'm half Sri Lankan, half Somali, and my thing that really pisses me off when people hear that I'm mixed race is like, oh, what side do you prefer? Oh, which side do you think you're more like? Oh, which side are you actually? Which side are you more? The other thing, yeah, this actually just hit me now. The thing that irritates me the most is when people tell me I'm purely Somali. My dad's side's Somali, and they're like, because it's your dad's side, that means you are Somali. You can't be half. Shut the fuck up. Has my mum just disappeared from the picture? If anything, my dad has. That's because he's dead. But my thing is, I'm what I am. I am half Sri Lankan and half Somali. I'm not Somali because my dad's Somali. Shut the fuck up. Let me do what I want, be as I please, and you don't tell me shit.
I made a video about being Mexican and black, you know, being a mixed man, but I identify as a black man. And a lot of people are commenting under it, man. A lot of people are sharing their own experiences, and it's related to a lot of people. Some people DM me though and message me asking me to talk about my experiences being Mexican and black. And a lot of them ask me if I speak Spanish, which I don't speak Spanish. But that was crazy because, you know, that was pretty much most of the discrimination I faced growing up. I was born and raised in Bakersfield, California, but we moved to Santa Maria, California, by Pismo, which is predominantly Mexicans. And, you know, at elementary school, of course, you know, I looked mixed, and they would always tell me, oh, you're not Mexican because you can't speak Spanish. But, you know, I never really paid no mind to it. You know, thankfully I had a great mom who really, you know, helped me solidify who I am and what I am. So, you know, that didn't really bother me a lot. But other than that, I didn't really face too much, you know, racism growing up, thankfully. You know, I think it's just being from California, it's super diverse out here, you know, and it's a good place to be at, you know, and thankfully I haven't really experienced too much racism. And if you have, you know, I'm sorry about that. And maybe, you know, you should get on here and talk about your experience.
I'm mixed, so I'm not black enough to pronounce ask as like ask. I don't ask nobody a question, but I'm really not white enough to pronounce Friday is Friday. Saturday. Sunday, what are you doing Sunday? What are you doing Sunday? It's weird, like I'm black, but I'm not black, but I'm not white.
A quick reminder, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's continue the video.
Can I be real with y'all, like, for just a minute or so, okay? Because as a kid, and even now as an adult, I never truly understand this whole light skin versus dark skin debate conversation that's been going on for way before I was even born, you know what I mean? As someone who is light skinned, I will tell you 9 out of 10 times we're being raised, or we grew up around the non-black side of the family. My mom is white, Mexican, and Native, and we literally grew up on the reservation. I still live here on the reservation. I can tell you anything and everything about my tribe and its culture and traditions. You ask me about my daddy's side of the family, you're going to hear fucking crickets, because I truly didn't really, and I still don't know a lot about my dad's side of the family. I didn't meet my uncles and my aunts until I was about 6 or 7, and even then, my daddy's from Texas, by the way. I still didn't meet that side until I was in 8th grade, and even I still felt like I was really out of place, because I literally had a cousin stop dead in her tracks and looked at me like I was a white fucking devil, because it was a rural area. When I talk about the sticks, bitch, it's up in the woods, like in the woods, okay? Like, I'm talking about pretty much a stone throw away from Arkansas. That's how north they are up in Texas. And I feel like I missed out on a lot, because I don't know a lot about my dad's family, his cultures, his traditions, where his family came from on both sides, his mama and his daddy. Growing up, I felt like I was lost. I didn't know who I was or who I am. And that's really important, to be honest, because you should definitely know who you are. You should know where you came from, who you come from. And that's why I will never understand this whole debate thing, because hair, for instance, is huge in the black community. I'm 30, by the way, and I didn't learn how to truly take care of my hair until last year or the year before that, when I truly understood my hair's needs. And even then, Protective hairstyles were a totally different beast because I got boho braids last year and they're nowhere near as long as these, okay? Nowhere near. I thought I was new. I thought I knew what I was doing. No, I didn't. So if you are a reconnecting multiracial black woman, mixed black woman, any start is a good start. Whether you start with your hair or you actually go and do research into your daddy's family or your mom's side of the family and you learn where they came from or who they come from and what they did and this and that, it's still better than not trying to find out who your people are, because at the end of the day, we also know who our ancestors are.
My cons of growing up mixed race, just to stress, this is my experience. I'm not saying every single mixed race person on the planet has gone through this experience, but if you have, let me know if you relate. So my mix, I'm half Turkish Cypriot, half Pakistani. I've already spoken in a previous video about growing up without the language and how I got sold out by both my parents and I don't know either Urdu or Turkish. So I would say the biggest difference that I experienced growing up was the contrast in religion and how they both practice religion. So for example, my mum, who is Pakistani, and I feel like a lot of Pakistanis practice religion in a very strict way. So my mum prays 5 times a day. She fasts and she covers and she doesn't drink and she's very modest in terms of religion. She makes sure she's always wearing modest clothing and she always tries to, you know, advise us to go down that route as well. But my dad, complete opposite. My dad, tattoos on his arms, literally covered in tattoos. He has a little drink, you know, here and there, but the way that he also carries himself, he goes out here and there with his friends, you know, like partying, and he is very, I would say like Turkish Cypriots a bit more Western that I've seen in my family. So just the contrast between my Asian side of my family, you know, being modest and covering, and then my Cypriot side of my family, like the way that they dress, I would say was the biggest thing for me growing up, just seeing how both sides operate. Next is food and cuisine. Growing up, I missed out on all the Asian dishes because my dad just did not like it. My dad wasn't used to like the spices. So, I mean, the food within itself, Asian food, you know, is very flavorful, spicy, punchy. And then Turkish food is very like grilled and there isn't many spices other than like, you know, herbal spices and the flavors from like the vegetables and the meat and the chicken. I could not handle spice growing up. Like I could not handle it. It was too much for me. Like anything, like the most mildest thing I couldn't handle. But it's really weird because later on in my teenage years, I just started craving spice and all of a sudden I was like crazy for spice and all I wanted was like biryani and spicy curries and just all that flavor. So now my spice level is really high, but it's just weird because I feel like I've gone backwards. Like I didn't gradually build my spice levels up. It's just one day I just really craved it.
So I am Liberian, specifically West African. And over there in Liberia, we eat a lot of spice. We put a lot of pepper. Like at times the food will be so hot that you will literally be crying, but it tastes so good that you will still eat the food, you know? So, but at school, it was hard for me. You know, I was used to my mom's food. Then as soon as I went to campus in college, it was tough for me. Most of the food was just bland, hardly any flavor, hardly any taste, and not enough spice, you know? And it was hard for me, honestly. It was hard for me.
One thing that I've noticed about being mixed, I'm half black, half white, but I think people who have any part black would probably be able to relate to this. And I know talking about being mixed on this app is not for the weak, but here I go. Also prefacing that I grew up in a predominantly white suburb. I go to a PWI, so I've been surrounded by a lot of white people throughout my life. But for some reason, racist people genuinely think they can confide in me. The amount of people who say things to me or who act a certain way or who are friends with me but not friends with any other black people or don't say anything to any other black people because they think that because I'm half black or I don't really look black, it's okay to say, it's okay to hang out with me, like I don't really count as black. Someone has actually told me that, well, she's not even that black to get mad about that. And it's always the people who are subtly racist and you don't know, and then finally their true colors come out. And I'm like, how have I been friends with you this whole time? And it's because they just don't think of you as black. So they don't have an issue with it. And then until they say something and get confronted about it, and then it's kind of like a, oh, well, and it's always just them apologizing or them being sorry that I had my feelings hurt and the intention wasn't for me to be upset or the intention wasn't for me to be hurt. But I'm like, you should be apologizing for being racist, not hurting my feelings. The issue is you being racist, not how I feel about what you said. I don't know if any other mixed people can relate to this, but I just feel like the racist people think they can confide in me and it's disgusting. But honestly, I can catch them all. So if you wanted to put your friend up to the test or you wanted to see if someone was racist, send them my way because eventually it's going to come out and they think they can confide in me.
Do you remember the first time that you realized that race existed or like skin color existed? Because I do. I'm gonna tell you a story. I grew up mixed. So my dad is native and he looks native. He's got brown skin, brown hair, and he has native accent. And then my mom is Finnish and my mom looks white. She has blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin. So when I was in school, one time I had to get picked up early to go to something or to do something. And my mom had to come pick me up. And normally I think I never got picked up from school. I just took the bus, went to school in Thunder Bay, Ontario. I don't remember how old I was. I must have been like, I don't know, grade 2 or grade 3 or something. I was young. Anyways, then my mom came to pick me up from school. And the lady at the school, like the secretary or whatever, you know, secretaries are always kind of grumpy and mean. But anyways, in my opinion or my experience, the secretary was like, "Is this your mom?" And I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean is that my mom? That's my mom coming to get me." And she like looked at me and she looked at my mom and was like, "Are you sure?" Like, it was like she thought like some white lady was coming to kidnap this little brown girl from school. I was like so confused because I was just a kid and my mom was coming to pick me up and I didn't think much of it until later on I started to really critically think about why she would do that. And that was the moment that I realized that I looked different from my mom. And like my sister was always fairer skinned and she had lighter skin, so I don't think she ever had the same kind of experiences as me. But yeah, that is my story about when I realized race existed or skin color existed.
I feel like we talk a lot about the biracials who have grown up in white households or have white parents, like a white mom or a white dad, and the colorism and racism that goes on, and that definitely exists. But there's also an aspect, especially if you are the only biracial person in a white household and having to protect your biracialness, your blackness against your white household, being the only one who is celebrating your identity, the only one who like sees yourself for who you are. Like your family does not see you, they do not celebrate you, they only care about their views, like they see your views as wrong, like you're never right, like you're literally being gaslit by white people all the time. I grew up in a household where my stepdad was, every time he would get drunk and mad at my mom, he would call her an N-word lover, knowing that I was the only brown person in that fucking house. And my mom is still with this man. And this has caused a lot of trauma and just hurt and distance within my family. And literally since I've been a freshman in fucking high school, I've been on my shit, learning, trying. It's like this constant battle of like trying to get them to see you. But my advice to biracial people who are maybe going through this, or like you're just born in a white household, like they may not ever see you. They probably will never see your point of view. Some biracial people are blessed to live in loving and welcoming households and mixed households where they have both of their parents, or you know, both of their parents are like just celebrating who they are and it's just full of love, and that's definitely what biracial people deserve. But that's just definitely not the reality for all biracial people. And my question is just to biracial adults and just like, I guess just anyone, like, how do you move on and heal from these things, you know, like, and I think that it's good now that more biracial people are speaking up about their experiences, because we have a lot more in common than we do our differences.
Why is it when us mixed people post content about being mixed that people comment, "Oh, but you're so beautiful, you're so pretty," and stuff like that? But it's like, there are upsides and downsides of being mixed, don't get me wrong, but looks are never a problem. Looks are never the problem. I think you guys are really missing the point of the videos. It's not about what I look like now. It's not about like that. I'm very happy to have the skin I have, the hair I have, you know what I mean? But it's about how people treat the mixed community. It's not about how we look, it's about how we get treated.
Can I tell you, I love being mixed race. It's so fun. People mistake me all the time. It's already happened twice today. The first time I was mistaken for Hispanic, and then the second time I was mistaken for Brazilian, and they always say it with so much confidence too, and they're usually wrong.
which I think is kind of crazy because I also feel like if I'm pretty obvious, like what I am is pretty obvious, but maybe not. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever heard it being talked about, but let's talk about it. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about how hard it is being the only biracial person in your family. So on my mom's side, I'm the only biracial person. I'm the only half black, part black, corner black person there is. So if you know, then you know, and if you don't, then we can talk about it. Anyways, so here recently it's been brought to my attention that one of my family members feels the need or feels like they can use the N-word with the hard ER. Mind you, this person is completely 100% Caucasian, white, whatever you want to call it. And it just totally grosses me out. It disgusts me that they feel like they have the ability to reference a black person utilizing the N-word regardless of the situation. I feel like if you're gonna call somebody the N-word, you wanted to call them that. You want to refer to all of us like that, and that just disgusts me. It makes me feel so disgusted to be associated with anybody that feels like they can talk like that. And that is why I've chosen not to associate myself with this person. Do I owe them an explanation? No, because you knew better. You're grown, you knew better. That is so mind-blowing that anyone would feel like they have the ability to utilize this word regardless of the situation. Like, I feel like if you use that word, that's what you wanted to say, that's what you want to reference us as, and that's just gross. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you're half white. I'm black. My birth certificate say I am black. I am proud to be black. I have children who have even more African American in them. That is so gross. Like, that boils my blood that they feel that they can talk like that. I don't know. Is it just my, like, we're from a small town, so like, is it just my family, or like, do anybody else feel like this? Does it get to other people like this, or is it just me?
So as crazy as it may seem, I'm not black. I'm biracial. I'm my own race. I know that this will probably come as a shock to some of you because you can't comprehend it, but literally I'm my own race. I'm biracial. My parents are both black and white. And if you do your research, and scientifically speaking, there's no such thing as a pure race. Everybody's mixed in some way, shape, or form. The terms black and white are literally political buzzwords. Like, to white, you'll seem black. To black, you'll seem white because you have white family, white parents. They might make fun of your hair for your hair being different or better or whatever. But I choose to look at it scientifically. I'm biracial. And I also don't accept the racial victimization stigma that most blacks tend to identify with. Yeah, I've been through a lot of racial things and other things in my life, but I don't like the idea of being a victim. So that's not for me. I'm biracial, I'm mixed, I'm light-skinned. Y'all can have all those other identities and names and labels or whatever. And contrary to popular belief, biracials are their own race. So I'm not black, I'm biracial.
So my nationality is Liberian American, and I'm a U.S. citizen as well. My race, I am black, obviously. And my ethnicity is, my mom is from the Mano tribe in Liberia, and my dad is Gola. And so I have like a mix of tribes. So yeah, I don't speak any of the native languages from Liberia. I never really learned it, and I was never really interested in it as well. So I didn't really have the will and the strength to really learn it from scratch, you know.
So I made a video about things that I have heard as a mixed woman. Things from can I touch your hair to oh my god, you're an Oreo. Black on the outside but white on the inside. But I think the absolute worst thing that I've ever heard to me personally, or at least the one I find to be the most offensive, has got to be, you don't sound black. Like, what the fuck does that mean? And the problem is I haven't heard that just once or twice. I have heard that throughout my entire life. So like, do my other mixed or black girlies get that as well? Because if I had $1 for every time I've heard that, I would be a multimillionaire.
I hate being biracial. The first reason is not the main reason, but I'm going to say that first before the other biracials are like, ah, me too. I don't fit in with either side. I'm always too white for the black people and too black for the white folks. I am not part of you. No. I hate that I get lumped in with you guys. That's one of my reasons. And my main reason is because my family is racist. My white family is racist. And so I have had to deal with such extreme racism, like from such a young age, without even realizing that that's what was happening, because that's how I was raised. And for me personally, like my family on my black side, has drama that I don't want to be involved in for personal reasons. So I have just nobody. Like family wise, I'm just kind of like off here on my own. I have like no support systems outside of my boyfriend and my friends. So it is just a big fat L of life that I got stuck with racist white people. Oh, and my third reason, my sister is white and people think we're dating all the time. And that really just like makes me upset. I went to a family reunion and I hadn't been to the family reunion in years for like, you know, reasons. And I'm trans and they didn't realize it was me. And they thought I was my sister's boyfriend. Like, I was raised with y'all. But yeah, no, I just hate that I can't ever find people that relate to my struggles. And it's just always, the black people don't like me because I'm not, it's not because you're not black enough. I've literally never had a problem fitting in with black people ever. It's literally because you act like that. Like that's the reason black people don't want to hang out with you. I've encountered some monoracial black people online that don't want to interact with biracial people mixed with white. But for one, it's because of people like that they don't want to. And for two, I'm not taking any hard feelings for that because it's better safe than sorry for them. And I get it. Not to mention, never once has that happened in real life, only online. And if it does happen to you, I'm sorry, but it's probably just because you have some internalized anti-blackness that you need to work on. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't care if I'm too black to fit in with the oppressor. Like, I'm good. If a white person isn't cool with hanging out with monoracial black people, I don't want them hanging out with me.
Let me say this real quick. Being mixed race in America, it's not what y'all think. A lot of people like to think that, you know, people will mix, like you gotta choose and stuff like that. Listen, I don't know any mixed person specifically who's black and white. That's what I'm talking about. Who, like, doesn't claim that they're black or doesn't claim that they're white. And we don't pick and choose when we want to be white or black. How can you pick and choose something that you are? That's like a black person saying, I'm going to pick and choose when I'm black. Or a white person saying, I'm going to pick and choose when I'm white. It doesn't matter whether you might be lighter passing or darker. It doesn't matter. In America, if you have any black in you, people label you as black. Simple as that. It doesn't matter what you think in your head. If you got a fucking afro, if you got waves, if you look like you got color on you, you know what I'm saying? You're black. That's how people see it. Yeah, to us, we know that we're mixed. Like, I could tell somewhat most of the time when another person is mixed, but a lot of times, you know, you can't, you know, because obviously some people in America are generationally mixed. So some black people down the line were mixed and they just kept mixing with other mixed people that eventually they just have a group or ethnic group of light-skinned black people, which they like to claim that they have no white in them until they do a DNA test and they realize, damn, I'm 30% white. I'm 40% white, of course, because it's just called generationally mixed. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing when it comes to like Puerto Rican or Dominicans or Brazilians. Like, they have the most mixed like mulattoes. You know what I'm saying? Or at least Dominican Republic and Brazil do, you know what I'm saying? So that's something that people gotta understand. Like, listen, man, I don't ever pick and choose shit. Like, I'm me all the way through and through. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how somebody talks. Somebody can talk white, but might not feel that way. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can talk, you know, whatever you like to claim as white. Like I said, whether it means speaking proper or in Massachusetts having a Boston accent, they usually claim that more to a white person. I don't see it that way. I just see it as you talk the way you talk, but your hands work the way that they work. It really don't matter how you talk. You know, how you move, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't judge someone based by how they talk or how they look. You got to judge someone based off of how they are and what they think. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people, you know, like to assume, especially in the black community, like to assume that like as if biracials have something like we pick and choose when we want to be black. Listen, I'm sorry to tell it to you, but most of us as a kid, people didn't know that we was white. They just called us black and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We growing up, you got an afro or you got the curly hair. For most, that's just what it is. And people in school growing up, they just see you as black. They don't see you as, oh, that's a mixed race black. They don't think like that. Okay? So just to clarify, because I'd be seeing a lot of weird shit in the internet. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to stop with all that weird shit. It comes off as insecure when I see black people trying to come at mixed race people and shit like that. And even with white people, like, right? Like, I feel like with white people, sometimes it could be the same thing. Like, me personally, I've never felt like not accepted by black people or not accepted by black people or white people. Like, yeah, there's people out there who might try to do some weird shit, But I just tell them to go fuck themselves. Like, if there was a black person that told me, oh, you're not black enough, I'd be like, can't talk the way I want to talk, but I'd be like, you kiss my ass. Like, I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't care. I have nothing to prove to you. Like, I don't. Same thing with a white person. If a white person told me, oh, you're not fully white, I don't care what you think. Like, it doesn't matter what you think. Your opinion doesn't fucking matter. All right? Like, I don't live my life to appease white people or to appease black people. That's not what I live my life for. I don't live my life to be validated by a group of white people or a group of black people, right? I'm validated by myself. Like, I live my life to just live as a human, right? And that's how I see it. So for all like the other mixed race people, I hope this can be like a, you know, maybe you can learn something from me, because some of y'all do be trying to get validation, which you don't need. Like, in my opinion, I think you're the future. You know, we're the future of life. This is where human civilization is going. It's us. The way that we are mixed. Where it's not no more this, I'm white, I'm black. I like arguing over stupid shit. Like, motherfuckers really be hating each other because of their skin color. Like, they're like a bunch of fucking monkeys, if you really think about it. Imagine that, like, a group of white people who grow up in a fucking broke as shit, think that they're somehow different than a group of black people who are broke as shit. You guys both the same. And I know this because I grew up around both of you. Y'all do the same shit. Y'all all on food stamps. Y'all all be trying to steal, rob. Y'all all be doing the same shit. There's no difference. Not one. I don't see any difference from broke white people from broke black people. I don't see a difference. Same thing when I'm around with suburban black people, suburban white people. Same thing. Entitled. Think that they're smarter than everybody. Think they're better than you. Try to act tough even though they're not. Like, yeah, it's the same. Like, you look like a bunch of fucking monkeys arguing about your fucking skin color when you should be arguing about, like, how can we evolve as a civilization? Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is like the stupid shit that I feel like a lot of mixed race people you think. Like, these people are still fucking arguing over something like, it's fucking insane. So, at least y'all can kind of get a perspective of, like, being mixed race in America is not what you think, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like people treat me based off of how I treat them, in my opinion. Like, I never felt like people being racist to me, at least in my face, because it's going to be an issue. I never felt like, and that's on both sides, because technically speaking, of course, like, racism is by the majority, but yeah, I mean, you could be racist and be black. You could be a person, being racist just means you hate somebody just off their skin color. So if you're black or you're Hispanic and or Native American and you hate a white person because they're white, you're racist. Like, it just is what it is. But I understand, you know, what's the word, nuance, that it's about most of the time it's based off of the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And I can also address too that, like, I personally don't think that we're being oppressed either. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that that's because of the work that's been done over time. And then you see other people trying to reverse all that. That's another conversation. I'm not going to get into all that stupid shit. But yeah, being mixed race in America is not what you think. Hope this gave y'all some fucking insight, because I've been seeing a bunch of stupid nonsense. You know, like with this Kendrick Lamar goofy ass clown trying to come at Drake, even though his wife or baby mom is mixed race too. Like, bro, let's be honest here. Kendrick Lamar, you're not tough, buddy. All right? Like, I'm being serious. Like, if we fought, I would literally put you on your back and choke you the fuck out, bro. I'd beat the brakes off you. I'm dead serious. And I guarantee Drake would do the same thing. So it's like, this is what I'm talking about, all this weird shit. Like, yeah, like, don't be scared of people because of skin color either. Like, watch UFC. That tells you the truth about, like, fighting, okay? That's another thing to people. Like, don't be scared of people just because of their skin color, all right? Like, they're all the same. But trust me, I've been through this many times, all right? It doesn't matter who you are. It's not about the skin color. It's about the person. You could meet a white person. He tries to act tough and you knock his ass out. You meet a black person who thinks he's tough and you knock his ass out. You put him on his back. You choke him out. He can't grapple. So, okay. But that's just my talk of the day. I hope this gave y'all some good insight. Yeah.
Calling all my biracial angels to the front of the room. Hi, I'm Kiana, aka Dr. Stubble, and I have a PhD in clinical psychology, and I'm also biracial. A big part of the dissertation that I just wrote had to do with looking at biracial identity. A lot of biracial people report struggling to find a sense of belonging and community. For example, if you're someone who's black and white like myself, you might feel like, oh, I've never been white enough for the white community or black enough for the black community. And when looking at this from an attachment perspective, because I'm also an attachment researcher, this is very concerning because a lot of people have reported feeling this otherness even within their own family. An even more alarming statistic is that those who are biracial are more likely to engage in non-suicidal self-injury than someone who is monoracial. And when I say monoracial, I'm referring to people who identify with a singular racial category like black or white. There's also a lot of strengths to having a biracial identity. In previous studies, biracial people have said that they feel a greater sense of uniqueness, that they have access to complex perspective. They're able to see things from multiple points of view because of their unique social positioning. And in my dissertation study, biracial people were not more likely to report higher levels of depression than people of other races. So my fellow biracial BBs, is any of this surprising? Does this sound like it represents your experience? Let me know.
Black people have this like weird hate / envy / beef with the white race. And it is very concerning to me. But there are a lot of racist black people. To go around and like hate on other people if they're half white or just like white overall is crazy to me. And I have noticed this behavior specifically in black women. And I think that a lot of it is just insecurities and just feeling like you are not pretty enough. But yes, a lot of black women hate mixed black women. Mixed with Spanish, mixed with white, mixed with Asian. Like a lot of them hate them so much. And if you're a black man and you date like everyone and you don't really care about race, they will try to shame you for liking pretty girls who are not fully black. And I find that so weird. It is so strange to me. Like, if a girl's pretty, she's pretty, man. Like, come on. And as for me, at a young age, I have never cared about race. As long as there's love, respect, understanding, empathy, and the same values overall, there's not an issue, really. And so if you're a black woman, please let me know in the comment section down below. Have you guys seen this as well? And where is it from? Is it from hatred? Is it from envy? Like, where is this weird, strange energy from? Where is it from?
I need to start telling people that I don't speak Spanish because everybody come up to me speaking Spanish like, "Qué linda." Gracias.
I appreciate you guys watching the video today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.